And welcome back, guys, to a great 2018. I am back. It's been 4 weeks, but I'm back on the road. And today we are doing a test review on this, the 2018 Harley Davidson Sport Glide, which is a day before the release in the UK. But first things first, just a quick update on what's been going on with me. So for the last 4 weeks, the weather's been crap, so I haven't been getting out on the bike, unfortunately. Second thing, so my bike's been at Harley Davidson, and just to let you guys know, it is currently, gosh, just try and get through here without crushing any bikes. Here she is, there's Goldie. So as you can see, tanks off, rear fenders off. She is currently in for a spray job. And third thing, I've had to come away from YouTube because this month I've been in a rather long job interview process and I've got the job of my dreams. So that is what's been going on with me. But today, as I mentioned, we're back on the road. So first things first, let me show you the awesome aesthetics of this bike. So let's do a couple of video rolls, one with the touring capabilities on and the other with the batwing and the panniers off, and let me know your thoughts. Man, so how good is this bike? I must admit, when I first saw this launched, I was a little bit disappointed, and the only reason is because I had Softail Harley Davidson Overload, and I just wanted to see something else apart from another Softail. But actually, the more and more I got to know about the Sports Glide, the more and more I realised that actually, do you know what, this is probably the best value and the best all-rounder, considering you've got the touring capabilities, commuting aspect, and then you can strip this down to give it a real raw look, which, let's be honest, it kind of looks like a lowrider then. The things that really stand out for me on this bike has got to be those 43mm upside down forks. They are absolutely superb. Even the wheels I'm getting used to, I'm actually starting to enjoy. Typically you've got the Milwaukee 8 107 engine, which, as we know, that's pretty decent, around 83 brake horsepower, plenty of torque in that. With the exhaust then you've got a 2-into-1, which is quite unique to the Softail range. It's the only bike that has this on. You've obviously got the adjustable monoshock, so for me, I'm a little lightweight in the Harley world, so I've got to adjust that right down to 0 because I weigh, well, let's be fair, I've had a couple of naughty foods recently, so I've picked up a bit in weight, but I'd say around 72 kilos, that's all the way down to 0 for me. Then you've got these great panniers at the back. Again, really like, super easy to take off. The only thing that I really wanted these panniers to do is perhaps carry a helmet, and they unfortunately don't do that, but they've got plenty of space for that weekend ride away. Obviously got the 2-up capability. The only other thing I'd say you'd probably need to change is more of a padded rear seat, but apart from that, looks fab. And then speaking of touring capabilities, there's this thing, that's one of its main USPs. You've got the 18.9 litre tank, that's a miles per gallon of 53, and then you've got a distance of 220 miles. With this batwing yourself, you've got a 1.5 inch shield. Now, you know that's not going to give you a lot of wing cover, but you can easily get that changed to higher windshield without any difficulty at all. With those forwards, it just gives you that better ergonomic capability then, much more of a relaxed riding style. So without further ado, as in all my test reviews, let's do the sound test. Just to be clear, this is a stock exhaust system. So in 3, 2, 1. So that's what she sounds like on idle. Let's give it a bit of revs. It sounds okay. Again, one of the first things that I would do is personally change that exhaust system just to give it more of the Harley grunt. So getting on this bike, let's see how she feels. So let's jump on. Ooh, first thing I notice, the seat is very low. I think it's around 680 millimeters. Bars are set, I'd say about 4 inches below my shoulder level. Forward controls, super nice. One thing I noticed straight away is that I have to make a real conscious effort to get my toe under the gear shifter there, but that's okay, that's not an issue. In terms of the controls themselves, as with all Harley Davidsons, they're very much all the same. So you've got the right indicator over here, left indicator on the left hand side, very easy peasy. Then you've got engine stop start, hazards. On the left hand side then you've got your high beam, low beam, your horn, and then with the console at the front then you've got your full LCD. Something I'm really a bit of a fanboy about with the new M8s is just about their console controls, which look really good. So press in what I call the cycle button, then you've got your reserve, time, RPM, distance travelled, odometer. So you've got some real good features there, very easy to see. One of the benefits that you have got with hand controls is that you've got cruise control, really good feature. I've now got used to it on my Lowrider S and it is absolutely perfect. I use it quite a bit when I'm on the motorways. As always, I usually say this at the start of my vlog, however we're here, we are where we are. This is just my honest opinion, it's just my perception. Clearly I'm not an expert. What is an expert at the end of the day? So hopefully I'm going to communicate to you what this bike rides and feels like, and then you can formulate your own opinion off that. And then hopefully this weekend you'll be down at the local dealerships to try it out yourself. So as always, we're going to go on the Motonewbrider test track. We're going to test its speed, acceleration, manoeuvrability and functionality. All the good things that we want to know about this bike. So I've been on this bike for a couple of moments, completely on a straight. So how does it feel? Ergonomics wise, feels extremely comfortable. I actually thought these were forwards, but they feel like more of a mid to me. With the controls set up the way they are, my bum is firmly in the back of that seat and it feels good. Hand controls themselves, I feel like it's very easy to maneuver around. Although this thing is quite heavy, once you're on it guys, it doesn't feel like that at all. So coming into the first test, we have got the roundabout, so let's try the lean angle. Let's feel its manoeuvrability. This, guys, feels, and I'm just saying this as well, super light. Wow, pegs are nearly scraping. Gee whiz. But in terms of manoeuvrability, it's fab. God, that was very low. The one thing I would say as well, just with the brake side, and I haven't tested them too much, when you do use the front brake, it does dip quite a bit, and that's one of the typical things that Harleys do with the front forks. But it's nothing major to be concerned about. Okay, just coming into a 60 as I always do. Let's do the acceleration test in second gear, 30 miles an hour. Let's open her up. Go past the cyclist. Let's go. You know, for a cruiser, the 107, it's just got plenty of poke, enough poke. I think sometimes people reflect on the Harley Davidson, they see, oh, it's not fast enough and all this jazz, but you know, it's a cruiser, and the way the engines are designed these days with a bit more power, they're good. One of my critiques has always been around the brakes with Harley, and still to this day I feel it needs to be a bit more oomph, a bit more power behind it. With my Lowrider S, you've got those double discs, double brakes, and that does make a noticeable difference. Coming into a 60 with a boy racer in front of me, just want to get her up to 60 miles an hour. Let's see if there's any rattle, any vibrations, because that's what the Milwaukee 8 base boasts about. And straight away, at 60 miles an hour, well, I can tell there is little to no vibration at all. The one thing that's very noticeable is that I'm still getting a lot of wind resistance on my chest. So again, if you're looking for that touring aspect, one of the first things I would change is the shield, because 1.5 inches is just not enough. Going through a couple of twisties, great manoeuvrability. I just feel I can flick this thing about. Must admit, I feel really confident on it. It feels like a solid bike. I think I'm going to eat my words quite a bit with this. At the start I talked about when this came out, I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted to see something different. I actually wanted to see a Sportster, a new one of those rather than another Softail, but what Harley have done, I feel, is combined the best of the Softail range, and they've just made a superb bike. Coming into a 40, let's test the brakes. Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. Again, the front forks do dip a bit, but you know, you've got that ABS system, so that is going to support you. It's just a shame because I would just love it if they put some Brembos on, or really just upgraded their braking system across the whole range of HD. The next test now is the suspension range. You've got the monoshock at the rear. and obviously the fronts that have been upgraded. Let's see how it performs. Oh, that's so smooth. Obviously I've changed the settings to match my weight, and I just love how easy it is to change the settings on these bikes now compared to mine. So we're coming into the part of the test where we go through some tight manoeuvrabilities, because this thing should perform well in an urban environment. I think apart from the panniers, once you take those off and you give it that raw look, man, it's gonna look really nice. Nice turn this is, or nice bend. Let's open her up, drop the gear down into third, open her up, way. Using those brakes. Then we go into a tight left. Yeah, again, it's very easy just to lean your body weight in and it just goes where you want it to go. Open up again. Oh man, I've got a big smile, folks. This feels great. So coming into one of my favourite chicanes. It's a sharp right, sharp left. How does she feel? Easy to manoeuvre, just leaning my body weight in. No problems at all. Oh, it's good. It's good. Then coming into a fair bend on the right hand side. Leaning into her. Coming out, open her up. Then coming into a left, little bit wet here. Taking her a bit wide. Sorry boys, sorry Shores. Then opening her up. Yeehaw! Yeah, again, this bike for me is just quite a bit of fun. Personally, if I owned this bike, I would strip it down. So I'd take the batwing off, I'd have the panniers off, and then that would look pretty raw, pretty mean, to be fair. So now we're coming out onto the A roads. So this is where this thing, from a motorway perspective, is meant to perform well. Just pulling out. Let's get up to 60. And again, it just shows that in terms of the vibration at this speed, you're not feeling anything. Let's go around the roundabout again. Let's just test that lean angle. So I think it's around 27 degrees. But it feels really low when you're tucking in or getting round the roundabout. Let's just open her up. So this year I'm going to France again, and that's quite a trek, quite a bit of riding. And this bike, this is something that I would love to do that on. It would just be a nice mix between obviously a Softail that it is, and then the touring class for HD. It's just got that in between. And I think, you know, that's what Harley have done very cleverly, I would say, with this bike. They've looked at the Softail, looked at the Tourer and thought, could we get something in between? And then at the same time, could we then strip it down into a raw looking bike, like a lowrider? And they've nailed it. One of the things that I do like is the downshift and upshift on these Harleys. You really feel that you're going into gear. And one of the things that I've noticed is that it's easy to find neutral on these gearboxes compared to my twin cam, which is well, a bit tough. So that comes to an end of my first ride, my first impression of this bike. I must say, one of the things that really stands out to me from a positive perspective is just the diversity of this bike. The fact that you can go from a touring range, so with the batwing and the panniers on, and then you can switch that round and go for a total raw look. We've taken all that stuff off and it looks like a lowrider, a real mean bike. Second thing, obviously I love the engine. The Milwaukee 8 is a fantastic engine. Although I love a twin cam, I do appreciate the Milwaukee 8 engine. The 107 is decent, you've got a good amount of brake horsepower there, good bit of acceleration for a cruising bike. The ergonomics of the bike are really effective. Really feel that for a long ride or touring capability, this is going to be a comfortable bike to ride on. The only challenges you will have will definitely be with taking a 2-up, because that rear passenger seat is not going to be that comfy. In terms of the gearbox itself, it's a real smooth click, clunk, up, down, and you've also got the cruise control as well, which is going to be a pretty good feature when you're doing touring. The monoshock at the rear, speaking of suspension, is a beauty. Love it. Absolutely love that innovation. I love the fact that it's so easy to adjust. So overall, I rate this bike. I'm going to stick my neck out and say, I think out of all the 2018 range that I've tried with the Softail, this is going to be the best all-rounder. And you guys know how much I love the Fat Bob, but from an all-rounder approach, this is the one. This is the brilliant daddy of the Softail range. So is there any negatives about this bike? Well, it's all about perception of, you know, what you want to use this bike for. I could get really nitty gritty and say, well, actually with the panniers I want to take, or I want to put a helmet in and it won't carry a helmet. But I think it's really hard to pull out the negatives. I think the only thing that you've got to swallow is the price tag. You know, and as we know, Harley Davidson is an expensive brand, so you're going to pay through the nose for it, so be prepared. But yeah guys, that is my quick review. Really enjoyed this bike. It is so nice to get back on the road, especially when my bike's being customized at the moment with its paint job. But it's great to be back. There's going to be lots more reviews coming up, so I hope you can enjoy them. And apart from that, thanks for subscribing. Take care, all the best. Catch you very soon. Motonewbrider.